I've got myself a 611 horsepower Porsche GT2 RS. We're going to head up to the mountain with some other historical reference points to take a look at turbocharging through the ages. The GT2 RS summarises the fundamentals of turbocharging. Take a GT3 RS, add 2 turbochargers, and your 444 horsepower becomes 611 horsepower. And what does 611 twin turbocharged horsepower feel like on a Welsh A road with rain on it? It feels like too much, to be honest. It's absolutely batty. You've got 2 cars. You've got the car before the turbos wake up, which I have now, and you've got the one when they do wake up. Yeah, you just hold on. For that reason, I'm not going to talk now. I'm going to carry on concentrating. There's not much noise, but this is what happens in second gear. Now, this car feels like it's going to do a wheelie every single time you accelerate. Jesus Christ! If the GT2 RS represents new school turbocharging, well, the noble M600 is new old school turbocharging. This is the simplest of recipes. It really is a modern day F40. A metal chassis, a twin turbo V8, and as much power as your testicles can handle. Down here I have a little switch. It says road, track and race. Normally this stuff means absolutely nothing, it's just marketing bollocks. But in the noble M600 it really does mean something. Road, 450 horsepower. Track, 550 horsepower. And race, 650 horsepower. I'll give you a bit of race. Dearie me, that's insane. So it can't handle third gear and it's got 325 sections at the rear. This is a badass, old school, turbocharged car. It's really, really fast. It's not like the 911 that just comes in and goes because it's got short intakes and is very, very clever. Okay, this doesn't have as much boost as something very old, but yeah, it gives you all the excitement of being turbocharged. If you'll excuse me, I'm just going to change my undergussets and go back to road. So step back the thick end of 2 decades and you had a very different type of turbocharging. The Noble may still feel quite old school, but I tell you what, you revise your understanding of the meaning of the phrase old school when you drive the XJ220. I've never driven one of these before, and like you, it was probably a dream car when I was younger, but honestly, there's nothing feels as turbocharged as an XJ220. It may have 500 horsepower, but I put my foot down, I have to wait for it to come, and then it just surges at me. It's all about surge, and it's about anticipation. Compared to the Porsche, I mean, the Porsche doesn't even feel turbocharged. What we've got here is a Metro 6R4 engine taken to its ultimate level of silliness. It's just incredible. It doesn't even feel like an engine supported by 2 turbochargers. It just feels like 2 turbochargers on their own. You put your foot down, you count to 3, you hear a hiss, and it just goes. Oh. Supercars are about intimidation, they're about excitement, and the turbocharging of this car certainly adds to that. It may lack the noise of a V12, but I love the fact that I'm not quite sure, there she goes, when the boost will arrive, how much shove I'm going to get, and I just don't feel I completely trust it. Now, in sports car terms, that's not great, but in supercar terms, oh, it's exciting. But think of turbocharged supercars, and really, you only think of one car, don't you? It's the Ferrari F40, and I'm sitting in one now, which is a very, very good thing. Of course, the F40 feels old school and turbocharged, but it's not like the Jag. This is much lighter on its feet, less intimidating, and it really uses its turbocharging to full effect. Yes, there's some lag, but it's so exciting when it goes. Third gear, 4,000 RPM, lights the rear wheels up. It's just, oh. All those guys back in the day, all of my predecessors were so right about this car. I disagree with a lot of them about many things, but this car is everything a supercar should be. I'm not sure Ferrari's ever done a car better than it did this. What a car. I mean, the driving position is laughable. I'm almost a midget and I can barely fit in it, so yeah, it's a long way from perfect, but what a car. What a car. There weren't meant to be any winners and losers in this test because obviously they're a bunch of new and old cars. A couple of things stand out. The noble M600 is the modern personification of the Ferrari F40. It just has that feeling of excitability on the road. But the F40 does stand proud. It's just the most spectacular driving machine. We've been discussing it for the last 2 days, and one thing came up in conversation which is interesting. Almost all the very great road cars are normally aspirated. But the F40 isn't. The F40 is twin turbocharged and somehow all the greater because of it. It takes its turbocharging and uses it to create an even greater driving experience. And we love it for that. It's a great car, a truly great car.